Namaste. I'm Soumya Ananthakrishnan, and on behalf of the Sri Mahavallabha Ganapati Devasthanam and the Hindu Temple Society of North America, I'd like to take this opportunity to welcome all of you to the Swami Vivekananda celebrations. It is our incredible pleasure to host this event to reflect on the legacy, life, and influence of Swami Vivekananda. As many of us may already be aware, Swami Vivekananda is a renowned figure who was instrumental in Hinduism being recognized as a world religion, which not only increased interfaith awareness, but also introduced the Indian philosophies of Vedanta and yoga to the Western world. So we have an exciting lineup of events today, and hence, without any further ado, let us begin with the Shankadwani by Sanjay Attara. Sanjay sir is a yoga, meditation, and pranayama guru, and he teaches on Sundays at 8:30 a.m. Thank you, Sanjay sir, for the Shankadwani. Next up, we have the Ganesha Vandana by the students of the Ganesha Pathshala. Also, since yesterday was Guru Purnima, this rendition calls attention to the Guru with two special songs.
औजल्या प्रभु गुरुदेव
I'd like to take this opportunity to thank the students of the Ganesh Pathshala for the beautiful rendition. Thank you, Siri, Sai Vedika, Sumedha, Shiven, Shrikar, Akshaya, and Harav Krishnan. Of course, thanks Shobha Chikarur for the coordination. A huge part of Swami Vivekananda's work was to awaken the youth. Keeping the enthusiasm alive are our very own youth from the Hindu Temple Society Youth Group. Let's see what they have to say about the influence of Swami Vivekananda on their lives and the lives of youth across the world. First up, we have Asmita Saha, who will be going to grade 9 in this fall.
Namaste. My name is Asmita Saha. Today, I will be speaking on the influence of Swami Vivekananda and his impact on youth. But first, who is Swami Vivekananda? Swami Vivekananda was a Hindu leader who reformed Indian spirituality. He was born in Narendranath Datta on January 12, 1863. Born into a high-standing family, Narendranath was a gifted child who excelled in studies, music, and athletics. He was fascinated by spirituality and monks at an early age. Narendranath mastered Sanskrit, Bengali, and English, and learned about the philosophy and spiritual history of India. At the same time, he also learned about the scientific, artistic, social, and political ideas of the West. He attended the Scottish Church College in Kolkata. Narendranath first heard of the spiritual guru Sri Ramakrishna from his principal, William Hastie. He first met Sri Ramakrishna at the home of a devotee in Kolkata. Though he did not initially accept Ramakrishna as his teacher, he appreciated his personality and began to visit him at Dakshineswar to discuss religion. Questioning the existence of God after the death of his father, he found solace in the words of Ramakrishna. He accepted Ramakrishna as a spiritual guru, and he later became the most notable disciple of Sri Ramakrishna. In 1893, Swami Vivekananda appeared in Chicago as a spokesman for Hinduism at the World's Parliament of Religions. He brought Hinduism to the world stage as a legitimate religion, at a time when much of the West thought of India as a land of superstitions. His speech renewed interest in Sanatana Dharma and India. It also helped Western countries realize that India is not a country of backward people and irrationality. Swami Vivekananda is also recognized as a key figure in introducing yoga to the Western world. After the speech, he lectured for 5 years throughout the United States and Europe. Returning to India in 1897, Swami Vivekananda founded the Ramakrishna Mission for Spiritual and Humanitarian Services. In 1898, he started Ramakrishna Math at Bilu on the bank of the Ganga River near Kolkata. Math meaning Hindu monastery. He also founded an ashram and another monastery. Vivekananda then left India again in 1899 for the West. He returned in 1900 for his work and extensive travel took a toll on his health. On July 9, 1902, Swami Vivekananda sat in deep meditation and left for the heavenly abode at age 39. All right, now we know more about Swami Vivekananda and what he did, but what did he say about youth? Well, Swami Vivekananda wanted to reduce the mental and physical sufferings of society and help youth achieve a meaningful life. Through physical, social, intellectual, and spiritual paths, Vivekananda outlined a method of different levels to help youth. The 4 different levels were planned to help young people achieve a prosperous life. In the first level, physical, Vivekananda emphasizes taking care of oneself and reducing your physical sufferings. The second level, social, is about undertaking activities to mitigate physical suffering for others. At this level, one helps out at hospitals, orphanages, and nursing homes. At the third level, intellectual, one helps the advancement of sharing knowledge, helping run schools, colleges, and awareness. At the fourth and final level, spiritual, one is expected to study both topics from the West and Indian philosophy and spirituality. Now we know Vivekananda's method for reducing mental and physical suffering. He firmly believed that India's youth held the key to solving many of the nation's problems. With the different paths of Vivekananda's method, he gave a call for youth to awake, arise, and work for the world and its people. He wanted young people to hold faith in themselves and to believe in their own glorious future. He wanted youth to think that they could do anything and everything, even without the guidance of others. Swami Vivekananda once said, "Practice virtue, persevere in virtue, become established in virtue, shine as an embodiment of noblest virtue and heroic adherence to goodness. Youth is meant for this grand process. Youth life is the active development and fulfillment of these processes." This has been a talk on the impact of Swami Vivekananda on youth worldwide by Asmita Saha. I hope you enjoyed it. Namaste.
Thank you, Asmita, for the great overview. Next up, we have Akshaya Sundarraj, who will be going to grade 9 this fall.
Namaste. My name is Akshaya Sundarraj, and today I'll be talking about Swami Vivekananda and his impact on the youth. Swami Vivekananda was born on January 12, 1863, to Vishwanath Datta and Bhuvaneshwari Devi. His childhood name was Narendranath Datta and was one of 8 children. He was interested about spirituality from a young age and used to meditate before the images of deities such as Shiva, Rama, Sita, and Hanuman. This is Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, Swami Vivekananda's mentor, who taught him about yoga and meditation. At the World's Parliament of Religions in Chicago, he famously opened his speech with the words, "Sisters and Brothers of America," giving him a standing ovation. During this speech in 1893, he introduced Hinduism to the Western world and called for religious tolerance and the end of fanaticism. He created the Ramakrishna Math and the Ramakrishna Mission, named after Swami Vivekananda's teacher, Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa. This is a picture of the World's Parliament of Religions in Chicago in 1893, where Swami Vivekananda gave his famous speech. The mission focuses on teaching its disciples about karma yoga and to work selflessly with the dedication to God. He made Hinduism a global religion and for people to have more religious tolerance. But for Hinduism to continue to be a global religion and for the Ramakrishna mission to continue, the future generation had to be involved. This is why before passing away on July 4th, 1904, he made sure to have a lasting impact on the global youth. Arise, awake, and do not stop until the goal is reached. This is a famous saying by Swami Vivekananda to the global youth. Swami Vivekananda lifted the spirits and determination of the youths all around the world to have faith in themselves and in God. He believed that even the least amount of effort was better than no effort at all. He believed that through yoga, meditation, and physical exercises, the youth will be able to have a good health and strong body. It is also important that the youth acquires knowledge about teachings of people who lived by a rule of honor. Swami Vivekananda believed that children should grow up unselfish at their core and to do work for the good of others and not only for themselves. He knew that it was important for the youth to have good character so they would grow up making better decisions about life, not only for themselves but also to benefit others. The youth needed to motivate themselves to better the world and to be useful to society. He hoped that the next generation would use their better understanding of the world to help people who are not as lucky. He also believed that the youth should learn some type of trade, even as a hobby. He saw the importance of labor, but to also learn about technology and science. Swami Vivekananda trusted that the youth would be able to solve the problems that he was unable to solve during his life. In day-to-day life, I follow Swami Vivekananda's principles. Every morning, I chant slokas, starting my day off on a positive note. Even by praying to the gods, I am able to do my day-to-day activities with peace of mind. I am also able to do Surya Namaskar, relieving my stress and energizing my body. I am able to use Swami Vivekananda's teachings daily to improve my health and overall well-being. You are the creator of your own destiny. This is how Swami Vivekananda influenced the youth to be better people and to help others in society. Thank you.
That was very profound, Akshaya. Thank you so much. Finally, we have Siri Shekarur, who will be moving to grade 9 this fall.
Namaste. My name is Siri Chikir, and today I'll be talking about how Swami Vivekananda affected the youth. Swami Vivekananda, born as Narendranath Datta, was a great social reformer and a very inspiring personality of India. He was born in Kolkata, India, on January 12, 1863, to Vishwanath Datta and Bhuvaneshwari Devi. Throughout his life, he's made an effect on the youth. He impacted the youth through 4 quests: the physical quest, the social quest, the intellectual quest, and the spiritual quest. Most youth aspire to make their life meaningful, but not all have the mental and physical stamina to pursue their goal, and Vivekananda understood that. Therefore, he asked the youth to overcome their fears and to become both mentally and physically stronger. Be not afraid of anything. You will do marvelous work. The moment you fear, you are nobody. It is fear that is the great cause of misery in the world. It is fearlessness that brings heaven even in a moment. Power is within you. You can do anything and everything. Believe in that. Do not believe that you are weak. Stand up and express the divinity in you. Therefore, arise, awake, and stop not till the goal is reached, said Vivekananda. Swami Vivekananda wanted the youth to undertake social activities not just for the betterment of society, but also for their individual growth. He advised the youth to serve God and man. Vivekananda said, "For the next 50 years, this alone shall be our keynote. This, our great Mother India. Let all other gods disappear for the time from our minds." He talked about worship of common man in place of God for the purification of the heart and betterment of society. Vivekananda said that what is needed is chitta shuddhi, otherwise known as the purification of the heart, which can be achieved through worship of those all around us. He taught that the men and animals around us are our gods and deserve our worship and services. He asserted that the first gods we have to worship are our countrymen. Instead of being jealous of each other and fighting each other, we must worship them. Vivekananda had immense faith in the youth and had great expectations from them. He said, "It is the young, the strong and healthy, of sharp intellect that will reach the Lord. This is the time to decide your future, while you possess the energy of youth, not when you are worn out and jaded, but in the freshness and vigor of youth. There are greater works to be done than aspiring to become something. A far greater work is the sacrifice of yourselves for the benefit of your race, for the welfare of humanity." Vivekananda supported physical fitness and social service, but also asked the youth to rouse their intellectual strength to understand both the worlds. He emphasized on education for all. He said, "Education is not the amount of information that is put into your brain and runs riot there undigested all your life. We must have life-building, man-making, and character-making assimilation of ideas." Swami Vivekananda admired the Western civilization, but at the same time was in love with Indian philosophy and spirituality. He implied that the youth could learn several things from the West, but must have faith in our own spiritual heritage. He said, "The thoughtful men of the West find in our ancient philosophy, especially in the Vedanta, the new impulse of thought they are seeking, the very spiritual food and drink for which they are hungering and thirsting. Today, when our youth find themselves gripped by increasing isolation, purposelessness, depression, and mental fatigue, despite material success, Vivekananda's precepts about greater goals in life emerge vindicated. He asked the youth to go for a spiritual quest and to achieve greater goals. He said, "Life is short, but the soul is immortal and eternal, and one thing being certain, death. Let us therefore take up a great ideal and give up our whole life to it." Once while delivering a lecture on difficulties in life, Swami Vivekananda called for a nationwide renovation with the ideals of tyaga, or sacrifice, and seva, otherwise known as selfless service, the most imperative aspects of shaping the life of young people. Swami made the point that this way of life is what can be called spiritual pursuit. The transients of triumph and material wealth were central to this philosophy. He challenged the youth to live for a noble reason, a lofty ideal, and a higher state so that they were able to transcend the impermanence. The relevance of Swami Vivekananda today is with the ideals and goals that he devised for the youth. He also propounded the scientific way to achieve these goals through physical, social, intellectual, and spiritual quests. Youth have the option to choose from any of the 4 paths shown by him and achieve peace, prosperity, and happiness. The freedom to choose, irrespective of gender, birth, caste, or other attributes, is what increases the appeal of this path manifold today.
Thank you, Siri, for the great insight. Of course, thank you, Chandrasekhar Velur, for coordinating such a wonderful program amongst the youth. After an auspicious and informative start, we now request Swami Ganeshanandaji to provide a message on the life and works of Swami Vivekananda and also reflect on the insights provided by the youth previously. Swami Ganeshanandaji is a monk of the Ramakrishna Mutt and the Ramakrishna Mission since the last 25 years. We now have him joining us live from Lusaka.
Thank you. Good morning to all of you. And I'm very happy to be with you virtually, of course. And I'm very happy to see, first Sanjay Tadaji has done nice Sankhadvani, has blown the conch shell for more than 3 minutes. It's not a joke. It's very good. And our various participants, they have given wonderful presentations, Smriti, Akshaya, Shirisha, and everyone. And they have made, road for me, so I can now proceed on it. I'm very happy by the wonderful presentations of all of you. Let us talk about Swami Vivekananda and his message for the present time, particularly for the global youth. Swami Vivekananda said, my message is for younger generation. I have faith in my younger generation. Out of them will come my workers and they will chalk out the whole problem. Why Swamiji said this, that my faith is in younger generation? Now, question comes, whom should we call a young? Only physically young or mentally should be? He should be young in mentally, he should be young mentally, physically, emotionally, and in all the respects. Generally, we say that young means he should be of 25, 30 years old, say 18 to 30 years maximum, and he should be zealful, energetic. Yes, we require that. We have a wonderful emotions. You youngsters, you have a tremendous power. You have a wonderful emotions. Now that emotions and that wonderful power is to be channelized. And how to channelize that? There comes the wonderful message of Swami Vivekananda. Swami Vivekananda says, emotions controlled and directed to work is known as character. From childhood, we have heard that if character is lost, everything is lost. If money is lost, nothing is lost. If health is lost, something is lost. But if character is lost, everything is lost. And that is why Swami Vivekananda says, neither money pays, nor name, nor learning, nor fame. It is character and character alone that can cleave the adamantine wall of difficulties. So now what is meant by character, which is so much emphasized by Swami Vivekananda? Character means emotions controlled and directed to work is known as character. I have emotion of jealousy, I have emotion of anger, I have emotion of love. Let me direct it. That is most important. When the stream is flowing from any mountain, and if we channelize that stream, then as a result, what we get? We get hydroelectricity power. But if we do not channelize the stream of water, then what happens? Devastation takes place. In a similar way, wonderful stream is inside all of you youngsters. You are energetic, zealful. You have a desire to do something extraordinary. Now channelize it. Suppose I have a emotion of love. First, let me love everyone. Let me love human beings. Let me take care of others. See, we are being called as a human beings. Let me tell you, 3 laws are there. First law is law of animals. Second is law of human beings. And third is law of great people. First law is law of animal. What is the law of animal? Selfishness is the law of animal. Second is share and care is the law of human beings. And third is sacrifice is the law of great people. These three laws are there. And here comes wonderful message of Swami Vivekananda, which you people have just now spoken of. Man making and character building education. Swami Vivekananda has defined education in wonderful manner, man making and character building. We have seen what is meant by character. Now, what is meant by man making education? Man making education means the one who shares whatsoever he has. If I have a good wealth, I can share it with others. If I have a good thoughts, I can share it with others. If I have a good feelings, I will share it with others. Whatever I have, whatever. Wealth doesn't mean only money or dollar. I'm telling you. Wealth means good thoughts. Wealth means good character. Wealth means good emotions. And that is what man making and character building education. Swamiji wanted this kind of education. So now how can we become man? When we come to the level of share and care. Let me take care of my neighbors. Let me take care of my parents. Let me take care of my city people. Let me take care of my country people. And let me take care of all human beings, irrespective of language, culture, and nationality. That is called share and care, is the law of human beings. And Swamiji wanted such kind of man making and character building education. Here you don't take man means it is being used as a male gender. No, it is not like that. It is for each and everyone. And that is why Swamiji said, "Oh mother, make me a man." What does it mean? Let me take care of my fellow beings. Let me take care of my country people. Let me take care of all human beings. Let me take care of even animals. Let me take care of even birds. Let me live with environment. Let me give my own contribution to the society. And it should be an unselfishness. Another wonderful message of Swami Vivekananda is unselfishness is God. We must be unselfish. Suppose I'm doing service to somebody else. I should look at him as a God. Service to man is service to God. And I should not expect anything in return, because I am doing it for the betterment of myself. And here comes Swami Vivekananda's message. Swami Vivekananda said, "The giver is not the great. Had there been no receiver, giver would have not got an opportunity to do charity." So giver is not the great. Receiver is the great. Here comes a wonderful message of Swami Vivekananda. This is the beauty of Swami Vivekananda. He says, giver is not the great. Had there been no receiver, giver would have not got an opportunity to do charity. I am given an opportunity by the receiver to do service to him. Whatever I am having, it was his. It was just kept with me, and I am giving it to him. Do unselfishness. And that is why Swami Vivekananda says, suppose if you are growing emotionally or spiritually, how can you measure your growth? That I am growing spiritually or I am growing emotionally also. Check it out. Are you becoming unselfish? The more you become unselfish, make it sure you are going to reflect your divinity. And that is the goal of our life. Swami Vivekananda said, each soul is potentially divine. The goal is to manifest this divinity within. We are all divine. We are children of immortal bliss. It is a sin to be called a man so. Are you sinners? Swami Vivekananda says, no. It is a sin to be called a man so. We are all children of immortal bliss. Now, how can we prove it? By reflecting divinity. And how we can reflect our divinity? By doing unselfish service. By becoming a man in true sense. How can we become man in true sense? Share and care is the law of human beings. And sacrifice is the law of great people. So those who are great people for the whole world, they have sacrificed their life for the betterment of the whole world. In each and every country, you will find great people came and they sacrificed their life for their country people, for the humanity. And this is what Swami Vivekananda says. Even if you cannot become great, doesn't matter. Let me become at least human being. If I become more and more selfish, what does it prove? I am going towards animal culture. And second thing, animals behave instinctively. They behave instinctively. They do not have a capacity to think and act. Exceptional are there, of course, but exceptional cannot become the law. Most of the animals, they don't have capacity to think and act. They behave instinctively. So whenever we behave instinctively, what happens? We go to the level of animals. Let me start to think. Is it good for me to act? Is it good for me to react? Is it appropriate for me to react? And if answer comes, no, I must not react. So control your emotions of anger in this way. If I have to show anger, I must not show my anger on others. Rather, I must channelize my emotion of anger. How to channelize? I must transform my emotion of anger into good work. Emotion of love, my love should not be confined to one or two persons or to group of people. No, my love is for each and everyone. That is why love all, serve all. Emotions of jealousy. We are jealous of others' result. That is not the right use of emotions. What is the right use of emotion? The right of use of emotion is, if right use of jealousy particularly is, I must be jealous of that person's hard work. I must be jealous of his good conducts. I must be jealous of his good character. Let me imbibe that. I must not be jealous of others' good result, others' good name, fame, post, power, and position. Not at all. If I have to become jealous, I will become jealous of his good qualities. If I have to become jealous, I will become jealous of his noble character. And that is why Swami Vivekananda says, when you will put all these things into practice, man-making education and character-building education, when you become man and when you will have a wonderful character, what will happen? Power will come, glory will come, whatever is good, that will fall down at your feet once that sleeping soul is roused to its divinity. Just raise yourself towards your wonderful divinity. We are all divine. We have to reflect our divinity. And divinity will not come from above the sky. No, not at all. It is inside. How can I reflect my divinity? By doing wonderful, unselfish work. And that is why Swami Vivekananda says, power will come, glory will come, goodness will come. Whatever is excellent, that will fall down at your feet once that sleeping soul is roused to its divinity. And that is why, there is a last sloka in Srimad Bhagavad Gita where Dhritarashtra is being told by Sanjaya. What Sanjaya told to Dhritarashtra? Oh Dhritarashtra, yatra yogeshwara krishna yatra partho dhanurdhara tatra sri vijayo bodhir dhruva nitir matir mama. Wherever there is Krishna and wherever there is Arjuna, there comes wealth, there comes victory, there comes righteousness, and there comes dharma. Our wealth and victory should be backed by righteousness and dharma. And whom should we call a Krishna? Whom should we call a Arjuna? The man of vision is known as Krishna, and the man of action is known as Arjuna. So let us combine our visions and actions. Then what will happen? We will have a wealth, we will have a victory, we will have a righteousness, and we will have a dharma. This is what Swami Vivekananda's wonderful message. And I'm very happy, I'm very much thankful of this Hindu Temple Society of North America, New York, though they have conducted wonderful program. They have given me an opportunity to share few of Swami Vivekananda's idea, how we can put it into day-to-day life. Thank you so much for all of you. Namaste. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Swami, for the thoughtful commentary and the profound insights. May I now request Dr. Uma Mysarkar to say a few words and present her namaskarams to Swami.
Thank you. Can you see me? Yes?
We can see your background,
Okay.
Doctor.
You can hear me now? Can you hear me?
Oh, we can hear you.
Okay. Namaste, Swamiji. Namaste. I spoke to you, if you remember, requesting you to be a speaker for this.
Yes.
You know, when I heard you last time, it just sank into my heart. And when we decided to do, which we always do every year, Swami Vivekananda Day, I first said to our group that we must invite that Swamiji, because I know he has the heart and the soul of Swami Vivekananda. So I'm deeply grateful to you for having agreed to come and talk to our young people. As you very correctly said, and our children have echoed all of it, the Swami Vivekananda has had such an impact on the youngsters. And I think his message is totally immortal. It will go for thousands and thousands and thousands of years. You know, philosophy is one thing, but what he has left a message on the young people is practically, it's just unbelievable, the impact that he has left on just about everybody. I always compare Swami Vivekananda to Shankara because they're both great, great, great men, born, I don't know, I think it was a God's creation to bring these two people, and both left this world at such a young age. We wish we had them for a much longer time because we were unfortunate. At my age, I was unfortunate not to have been at the stage when Swami Vivekananda was in. Because by reading his text, by listening to people who've known him, the way he has reflected himself at the World Parliament of Religions, the way he has interacted with the foreigners is, I think, something extraordinarily unique. And I don't think there's anyone in comparison to him today who could do a similar job. And I think by your talk, you have reflected so well. The youngsters who presented such wonderfully their thoughts about Swamiji will carry a lot more information from what you have said. Swamiji, my humble pranams to you, and I request you to be someone whom we can approach you at any time so that
Yes.
you can be our teacher, our children's teacher, because I want them to learn the right thing. You know, we have a pathashala where we have children learning all of the things, but I think this kind of philosophy, the moral, the children will grow with, will be the best ever thing that we as a temple can do. Temple is not just religion, but it also has to build in the character of these young people. And as much as Swamiji is stressed on the youth, and we need to stress on the youth because they are not only the future leaders, and they also must carry the flock of Hindu Dharma, Sanatana Dharma to the world. Thank you so much, Swamiji. Thank you, Soumya. Appreciate it. And all the good work. Thanks, Swamiji. All the best. We will be in touch. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Mysarkar. So great to hear from you. So great to hear your voice. So moving on, Swami Vivekananda gave several influential speeches around the world, like we just saw through all the presentations and all of the messages that we've been talking about. So his speeches on Karma Yoga had several important insights for commoners like us. He believed in uplifting the self by doing great work, and he also emphasized on the need for being unattached to our work. In the presentation that follows, I welcome you to hear a reading of 2 paragraphs from Swami's complete works on Karma Yoga by Arun Kumar.
Our duty to others means helping others, doing good to the world. Why should we do good to the world? Apparently, to help the world, but really to help ourselves. We should always try to help the world. That should be the highest motive in us. But if we consider well, we find that the world does not require our help at all. The world has made that you and I should come and help it. I once read a sermon in which it was said, "All this beautiful world is very good, Because it gives us time and opportunity to help others. Apparently, this is a very beautiful sentiment, but is it not a blasphemy to say that the world needs our help? We cannot deny that there is much misery in it. To go out and to help others is, therefore, the best thing that we can do, although in the long run we shall find that helping others is only helping ourselves. As a boy, I had some white mice. They were kept in a little box in which there were little wheels. And when the mice tried to cross the wheels turned, and the mice never got anywhere. So it is with the world and our helping it. The only help is that we get moral exercise. This world is neither good nor evil. Each man manufactures a world for himself. If a blind man begins to think of the world, it is either as soft or hard, or as cold or hot. We are a mass of happiness or misery. We have seen that hundreds of times in our lives. As a rule, the young are optimistic and the old pessimistic. The young have life before them. The old complain their day is gone. Hundreds of desires which they cannot fulfill struggle in their hearts. Both are foolish nevertheless. Life is good or evil according to the state of mind in which we look at it. It is neither by itself. Fire by itself is neither good nor evil. When it keeps us warm, we say, "How beautiful is fire." When it burns our fingers, we blame it. Still, in itself, it is neither good nor bad. According to as we use it, it produces in us the feeling of good or bad. So also is the world. It is perfect. By perfection is meant that it is perfectly fitted to meet its ends. We may all be perfectly sure that it will go on beautifully well without us, and we need not bother our heads wishing to help it. We must do good. The desire to do good is the highest motive power we have. If we know all the time that it is a privilege to help others, do not stand on a high pedestal and take 5 cents in your hands and say, "Here, my poor man," but be grateful that poor man is there, so that by making a gift to him, you are able to help yourself. It is not the receiver that is blessed, but it is the giver. Be thankful that you are allowed to exercise your power of benevolence and mercy in the world, and thus become pure and perfect. All good acts tend to make us pure and perfect. What can we do at best? Build a hospital, make roads, or erect charity asylums. We may organize a charity and collect 2 or 3 millions of dollars. Build a hospital with 1 million. With the second, give balls and drink champagne. And of the third, let the officer steal half and leave the rest finally to reach the poor. But what are all these? One mighty wind in 5 minutes can break all your buildings up. What shall we do then? One volcanic eruption may sweep away all our roads and hospitals and cities and buildings. Let us give up all this foolish talk of doing good to the world. It is not waiting for your or my help. Yet we must work and constantly do good, because it is a blessing to ourselves. This is the only way we can become perfect. No beggar whom we have helped has ever owed a single cent to us. We owe everything to him, because he has allowed us to exercise our charity to him. It is entirely wrong to think that we have done or can do good to the world, or to think that we have helped such and such people. It is a foolish thought, and all foolish thoughts bring misery. We think that we have helped some man and expect him to thank us, and because he does not, unhappiness comes to us. Why should we expect anything in return for what we do? Be grateful to the man you help. Think of him as God. Is it not a great privilege to be allowed to worship God by helping our fellow men? If we were really unattached, we should escape all this pain of vain expectations and could cheerfully do good work in the world. Never will unhappiness or misery come through work done without attachment. The world will go on with its happiness and misery through eternity.
What a beautiful message to end this program with. Thank you, Arun. Swami Vivekananda led a storied life, continues to inspire millions through his life and his works. Our hope is that today's program gave all of you, our audience, an opportunity to look deeper into the life of a revolutionary and celebrate his work by inculcating those values into your own lives for a better and happier existence. On behalf of the Hindu Temple Society of North America, we thank the audience, participants, parents, and coordinators for your time and effort. We also extend our deepest gratitude to Swami Ganeshanandaji. Also, we couldn't have pulled this off without the efforts of Dr. Uma Maisurkar, Indra, and Ravi.
Thank
We
you.
do have. Hello, Doctor. Hi.
Apparently the camera was not in the right place, so nobody could see me. And somebody came and told me you're not to be seen. And I want to really thank namaste to Swamiji also, because I don't think he could see me, he could hear me, I suppose. Sorry about that.
No problem at all. Glad you could join us and we could see you. I think that's the perfect segue into what we have coming up next, the events at the temple. So namely, we have the conclusion of the Sudarshana Yagna on Sunday. And as always, the latest temple timings can be viewed at the nyganeshtemple.org. With that, this is Soumya Ananthakrishnan signing off and wishing you a beautiful weekend. Namaste.
Thank you, Soumya, for a very nice job done. Wonderful. Thank you so much. And
Thank
we
you,
look forward
Soumya.
to your continued interaction with the temple activity. Thank you. Thank you. Namaste, Swami.
Thank you, Swami. Thank you, Doctor. And thanks everybody for giving us your